At the class reunion, everyone was happily chatting. The class monitor came over to persuade me to drink, but Maria stopped him for me. He's allergic to alcohol, I'll drink for him. As soon as her words fell, the whole table went silent. Only then did Maria realize we've been divorced for a long time. I met Maria back in high school. Her family background was modest, and her father was an alcoholic. Whenever he was drunk, he would take it out on her. Whenever she was beaten, she would hide in the corner of the school building's open space and cry quietly. That was where I first got to know her. At that time, she had a scrape on her forehead, and I handed her a Band-Aid. She smiled and said, "Thank you." But tears were already breaking through. From then on, we started to have contact. She gradually became more cheerful. Sometimes we would meet at that open space, talk for a while, or review schoolwork together. I carefully held her hand, and she didn't resist. Instead, she squeezed back tightly. I asked her if she had decided which university to apply for. She said, wherever I studied, she would apply there too. During that period, she always carried a smile, but not long after, I heard the news that Maria had dropped out of school. I went to look for her, but she had already moved away, leaving no message behind. The next time we met was at university. She was working at the convenience store across from campus. I recognized her at first glance. Have you been doing well lately? She gave a bitter smile and nodded. Pretty good. Back in high school. Oh, that time my dad killed someone while drunk and went to prison. We had no money, so my mom took me back to our hometown. Later, she remarried and didn't want to take care of me. My grandparents also passed away, and no one wanted me anymore. I had no choice but to come out to work and support myself. Maria spoke as if it was nothing, but her voice was choked. Suddenly, I felt an ache in my heart. She was clearly smiling, but I wished she could just cry out loud instead. I pulled her into my arms. At that moment, I couldn't tell whether it was love or longing that ran deeper. I stroked her face. If no one wants you, I want you. She leaned in and kissed me. You have to keep your word. I started dating Maria. In order to give her a better life, I tried to balance both studying and part-time jobs. Even though we both lived frugally, every time I saw her smile, I felt it was all worth it. After graduating from college, I found a fairly stable job thanks to my outstanding academic record. But being young and reckless, the following year I quit my job and started a business. Maria supported me unconditionally. At the toughest times, she secretly worked 3 jobs all by herself, sleeping only 5 hours a day. 3 years later, the company finally took off. I excitedly lifted Maria up and spun her around. She buried her face in my neck, smiling. I knew it. You could do it. She acknowledged my ability, yet never once mentioned her sacrifices and companionship. Back then, I thought to myself, I want to treat her well for the rest of my life and make her forever happy. That very night, I proposed to her. She shyly nodded, allowing me to slip the ring onto her finger. I kissed her softly while she panted and whispered to me, David, I want to give myself to you. Dim night lights blurred, and amidst our closeness, she called my name over and over. The moon hid and reappeared among the clouds as she pressed a reverent kiss on my forehead. Thank you. Thank me for what? Thank you for loving me. For someone as insignificant as me. Thank you for loving me. After marrying Maria, since her education level wasn't high, she simply became a full-time housewife, but I knew she longed for a broader world. She loved painting, and back in high school she often practiced in the open space on campus. I suggested finding her an art teacher from the National Academy of Arts. She was overjoyed, but won't it cost too much? She asked hesitantly. The company is running better and better now. We're not short of money. Besides, what's the point of me making money if not for my wife to spend? Maria paused, then smiled through her tears. Husband, you're so good to me. She really did have a talent for painting. Before long, she had already made remarkable progress. One afternoon, I personally cooked a full meal planning to celebrate with her. She told me her art teacher had invited her to a Western restaurant, and she couldn't decline. Akira is still a man. Isn't it inappropriate to go out for dinner so late at night? I asked. You're overthinking. I only see him as a teacher, nothing else. Maria casually picked up a shrimp and tasted it. Delicious, honey. Your cooking is amazing, even better than the restaurants. How about this? Wait for me to come back, and then the two of us can celebrate privately, okay? She kissed me on the right cheek, and before I could reply, she hurriedly changed shoes and went out. I sat in the chair, waiting and waiting. When the dishes went cold, I reheated them. When the wine was gone, I opened another bottle, but the whole night passed, and Maria never came back. The next day, she finally returned home slowly. "Where were you last night?" I asked, my eyes ringed with dark bruises from lack of sleep. She was startled, patted her chest, and steadied herself before answering. "Last night I drank a little with my teacher, got a bit tipsy, then happened to run into a friend. I just stayed over at her place." "A friend? What friend?" "Someone I met at the art exhibition." "Oh, come on. It was just one night. Why are you interrogating me like a criminal?" She said this while walking toward the bathroom, claiming she wanted a shower. Turning her head, she noticed the table full of dishes and asked in surprise, "Why didn't you eat the food you cooked last night? Didn't you say we'd celebrate together later when you got back?" Maria frowned slightly, thought for a moment, then smiled. "Oh, I must have forgotten. Never mind. It's nothing valuable anyway. Just throw it out. We can eat out later." In my impression, Maria had always been a thrifty and simple person. Since childhood, she had lived under the shadow of her original family. She never had enough to eat or wear, and because of that she especially cherished food. Back in high school, when I first brought her breakfast, I hadn't considered how small a girl's appetite might be and bought it according to my own portion. Every time she couldn't finish, she would secretly stuff the leftovers into her drawer. One time, a classmate knocked over her desk and her steamed bun fell to the ground covered in dust. Others wanted to throw it away, but she picked it up silently and ate it. After we got married, life became better and better, but Maria still kept that habit. Even if she was full, she would never leave any leftovers. She said, "I don't have a degree, so I can only stay at home and rely on you to support me. You work hard to make money every day. How could I have the right to be picky? I don't think it's bad. The ones who waste are the ones who truly lack manners." But later, she changed. When we went out to eat and couldn't finish, if I asked to pack up the leftovers, she said it was embarrassing. Whenever we went shopping, she would buy piles of food to fill the fridge, but a few days later, she would lose interest, never touch it, throw it out, and then buy more. When she bought bags, they had to be luxury brands. After carrying them once, she would give them away. When she bought clothes, they had to be high fashion. After wearing them once, she stuffed them into the closet until they grew mold. Several times I reminded her, but she would say, "Now is different from the past. Back then we didn't have the means, but now that we had money, why bother saving?" I had nothing to say. Looking into her eyes, I felt they were so unfamiliar. A faint thought rose in my heart. The Maria I once knew might never come back. Maria went out again with Akira. She sent me a message saying she was going on a sketching trip and would only return 3 days later. A man and a woman alone together for 3 days? I didn't agree, but she made the decision first and only informed me after. When I came home from work, she was already gone. She didn't answer my calls either. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Until 3 days later, when she returned as if nothing had happened. Before I could even question her, she brought it up herself, telling me about those 3 days. I didn't expect Akira to be so different in private compared to class. He's so serious during lessons, but in daily life, he's actually shy. I learned so much from the sketching trip. Oh, and it just happened to be Akira's birthday, so I bought him a cake to celebrate. I didn't calculate my period properly and suddenly had a heavy flow. Poor Akira even had to go buy me pads. Do you know what was really funny? The cashier at the supermarket thought he was my boyfriend and said, "This boyfriend is worth keeping. Honey, why don't we invite Akira over for dinner one day? He's taught me so well. I really want to thank him." Enough. For the first time I couldn't take it anymore and shouted at her. "You're already married and yet you go out with another man, stay out all night, spend 3 days alone with him, and then come home and chat with your husband about all the little details of how you got along with that man? Maria, don't you think you've gone way too far?" Maria froze for a long while, then frowned and said, "David, what's happened to you? What do you mean? You used to respect me, but now you've become so controlling." "Yes, I'm your wife, but I'm also myself. I have the right to interact with other people. Isn't that my freedom?" No, she completely misunderstood what I meant. I'm not trying to restrict your freedom. As a married woman, shouldn't you at least keep some distance from other men? So you think I'm going to cheat? Maria looked at me in disbelief. "David, is that what I am in your heart?" The more she spoke, the angrier she became. She even grabbed our wedding photo and smashed it to the ground. A filthy heart sees filth in everything. Maria slammed the door and left. She had only just come back, and we had seen each other for less than an hour. I looked at the shattered wedding photo on the ground, my heart aching bitterly. It wasn't until evening that Maria returned. When she saw me, she was still upset. Without saying a word, she went to shower, then lay in bed scrolling on her phone. What kind of married couple holds a grudge overnight? I sighed and said to her, I was too impulsive this morning, don't take it to heart. Maria stayed silent for a moment. Then her mood softened. It's okay, actually, it was partly my fault too. After she finished, she hugged me. Honey, I'm sorry, I didn't consider your feelings, but you should speak nicely too. If you yell at me, of course I'll get angry. All right, I know I was wrong. I patted her back, helpless against her strange temper. She smiled, then letting go of the day's unhappiness, and that night we were intimate for the first time in a long while. I thought the matter had passed, but only a few days later, Maria went back to her old ways. That day she was painting in the studio. I had planned to bring her some freshly cut fruit, but when I saw her painting, I froze on the spot. What is this? You're painting? I asked. A portrait, Maria said casually. I've never drawn a real person before, so I just wanted to try today. I think it turned out pretty well. Just as she said, she had never drawn real portraits before. When we first dated, she had once told me during a conversation about painting. First, I don't have the skill yet to do it well. Second, portraits feel sacred to me. Maybe I'll only try if I like someone enough. At the time I had teased her. So what you mean is, you don't like me enough yet? She laughed shyly and said, when we get married, then I'll paint you one portrait every day until our whole bedroom is filled. Now, after 6 or 7 years of marriage, she had never once painted me, but she painted another man. She painted a nude portrait of Akira. Maria, are you crazy? What's wrong? Maria asked in confusion. Why are you suddenly losing your temper for no reason? You painted a nude portrait of Akira. It's just art. Aren't you being too sensitive? Maria tapped her brush on Akira's abs, adding a few lines. Nudes are common in fine arts. What's the big deal? You just haven't seen enough of the world. Of all people to draw, why him? Why can't I draw him? He's my teacher. I respect him, so I painted him. Isn't that allowed? Her words left me speechless. But what she truly thought deep down, only she knew. I knocked her painting to the floor. From now on, no portraits of Akira are allowed in this house. I'll find you another teacher. You cut ties with him completely, otherwise we're done. David, are you serious? Maria exploded in anger. She picked up the painting as if it were a treasure, glaring at me viciously. You don't understand anything. Honestly, I don't even know why I ever fell for someone like you. Once again, Maria stormed out of the house. She didn't even take her clothes, only that painting. I had no idea where she went. Just like last time, she vanished without a trace, unreachable, like she had evaporated from the world. A week later, Maria returned. She obeyed my demand, changed her teacher, and cut contact with Akira. But she also stopped speaking to me. Maria was determined to fight me with silence. She refused to eat the meals I cooked. When I tried to make conversation, she ignored me. At night, when I wanted to be close to her, she turned me away. In a full 24 hours, the only replies I got from her were, "Oh," and "M." This state lasted half a month. One day I was about to leave on a business trip. Before I left, she still didn't say a word. I hugged her, but she pushed me away. I sighed helplessly. When I come back, I'll bring you that perfume you like best. Stay safe at home. With that, I left. During those days away, even though I was in another city, I thought of her constantly. When I finally got through it and rushed home, eager to surprise her, the scene before my eyes left me utterly speechless with shock. The studio door was half open. Inside, Maria was completely naked, posing as a model for Akira's new painting. In an instant, I felt my entire body surge with blood and rage. I shoved the door open and shouted at them. What the hell are you doing? Maria panicked when she saw me, hurriedly pulling on her clothes. I'm just modeling for Akira. Don't get the wrong idea. It's all for art. Yes, Mr. Wong. I think you should understand, right? Akira added on the side. Before it was Maria painting Akira's nude. Now it was the other way around. Akira painting Maria's nude. Was it really art, or just an excuse for flirtation under the cloak of art? Understand? Understand your damn mother. I swung my fist straight at Akira's face. He hadn't expected me to actually hit him, and with no chance to defend, he fell hard to the ground. Seeing this, Maria immediately rushed to shield him. David, what are you doing? Have you lost your mind? Move. I pushed Maria aside, ready to land a few more punches, but she refused to let me, throwing herself on top of Akira as if I were the villain tearing apart star-crossed lovers. You're siding with him against me? I asked bitterly. Maria glared at me angrily. So what if I am? David, I'm warning you, if you dare lay another hand on Akira, I'll divorce you. See? That's my dear wife. She would rather defend another man, even threaten divorce for his sake. All right then, very well, since you're so eager to divorce me, then let's do it. Numbed with despair, I threw them both out of the house. Then I picked up our wedding photo, and that very day I went through with the divorce procedures. At the moment of parting, Maria looked at me coldly. David, I do appreciate everything you've done for me, but I can't accept a husband who is petty and unable to tell right from wrong. You're simply not the right man for me. Maybe we were a mistake from the start, petty and blind to right and wrong. I laughed bitterly. Yes, it really was a mistake from the very beginning. Back to the present, coming back to her senses, Maria awkwardly put down the wine glass and withdrew her hand. Yes, Maria's right. Look at me, I totally forgot. It's been so long since we last met. The class monitor stepped in to smooth things over. David, I'm sorry, my bad. It's fine, I smiled and nodded. It's not that serious. I can still drink a little beer. Maria stayed silent by my side. After a few rounds of chatting, David brought up my family. Oh right, why didn't Annabelle come today? The maternity nanny had the day off. She's at home with my mom taking care of the baby. Annabelle. Maria caught the unfamiliar name and couldn't help but ask in confusion. Maybe you don't know yet. David is married now. Maria froze instantly. It took her a long while before she finally forced out a faint smile and asked me, why so sudden? Not really sudden. I've been married 2 years already. Our baby just turned 1 month old last month. Throughout the whole gathering, Maria absent-mindedly sipped her drink without saying a word. When it finally ended, she stopped me. Have you been doing well these past few years? Not bad. And you? Annabelle, how did you two meet? Through a blind date. Oh, through a blind date. Maria visibly let out a sigh of relief. Makes sense. Once you reach the age, even if you don't like it, you still have to settle down. You're wrong. What do you mean? Maria looked at me puzzled. I smiled lightly. It's not about just making do. I really like my wife. Maria froze in place. If there's nothing else, I'll be going now. I ignored her and got in my car. Just as I started the engine and pulled out of the parking spot, she rushed after me. David, let's talk. Talk about what? Talk about how she ran off with Akira only to be abandoned by him in less than 2 years. Or talk about how she wants to come crawling back to me now, hoping to rekindle what we once had. I looked at her calmly. I don't think we have anything to talk about. Just as I was about to step on the gas, she cried out anxiously. David, we had 7 whole years together. Can you really just let it all go? What else can I do? I slowly rolled up the window. I don't have the hobby of collecting trash. When I got home, my wife was waiting for me. Welcome back. Annabelle smiled gently, helping me take off my coat. I sent Mom to bed first. The baby is still fussing. You've worked hard. I kissed Annabelle on the forehead, then went into the room to see our little one. The moment my son saw me, he burst into giggles. I pinched his cheek playfully. So you're the one keeping Mommy awake, huh? Lucas must have missed you. Look, the moment he sees you, he's all smiles. Just now he was whining. Annabelle gazed at him with tender eyes and smiled. This age is exhausting. I held my son in my arms, soothing him to sleep. Then I told Annabelle to rest while she went to ladle me a bowl of fish soup she had kept warm. So the two of us sat at the dining table sipping fish soup, chatting about the little funny things that had happened today. I don't know when it started, but in the quiet of late nights, sitting face to face and talking like this had become a habit between us. She'd talk about going to the supermarket and stumbling into a buy one get one deal. I'd talk about how my coworkers teased me at the office for having the world's happiest lunchbox because Annabelle had packed it. Small, trivial things, yet when spoken by someone you love, they became endlessly amusing. This was something I never had with Maria. She would only complain that I was too wordy, too childish. Now that I think about it, those were all just excuses. Someone who truly loves you would never think you're annoying. Never mind if you're wordy or childish. Even if she just told you about grocery shopping at the market, you'd still find it adorable. David, let's go on a date tomorrow. Annabelle looked at me with bright, expectant eyes, smiling sweetly. Since Lucas was born, we haven't gone out just the two of us. Mom already said she'll help take care of him for a day. She was right. It had been far too long since we had our own little world. I ruffled her hair and agreed. Okay. The next day, Annabelle and I tidied ourselves up and went out together. We strolled around the shops for a while, then decided to eat at a restaurant across the street. But as soon as we walked in, I spotted Maria sitting in the corner. What rotten luck. What do you mean you don't care anymore, Akira? This isn't what we agreed on. Don't give me that nonsense. Even if we split, there's no reason to pull out your investment this fast, right? You made plenty of money off my art exhibition, and now you want to screw me over like this? Aren't you afraid of karma striking you down? Maria was eating while angrily talking on the phone, then slammed it down and turned, only to see me bringing Annabelle into the restaurant. She froze for a moment. I ignored her and chose a seat. What do you want to eat? Annabelle smiled and handed me the menu. Anything's fine, you choose. All right. She flipped through the menu while speaking. Let's get the braised eggplant and a plate of spicy shredded potatoes, 2 fresh juices, and 1 main dish. How about the seafood pot? You love shrimp. Annabelle ordered all my favorite dishes. After ordering, she carefully rinsed the bowls and chopsticks for me, smiling with narrowed eyes. David, doesn't this feel like when we first started dating? We'd always go out to eat, not for any special reason, just because watching each other enjoy a meal felt so nice. Oh, do you remember? On the day you proposed, we were also eating out. You hid the ring in a teacup, and within seconds, you kept sneaking glances at me, waiting for my reaction, but I didn't notice at all. It was the table next to us that pointed it out. I really made a fool of myself then. One guy at the next table even said I looked so dumb, like I didn't even know how to propose properly. Remembering it, I couldn't help but laugh. Annabelle curved her lips into a smile and held my hand. But that's exactly what I love about you. Back then, I thought, David is so handsome. If I could have him as my husband, I'd be the luckiest woman in the world. Her tone carried a bit of teasing playfulness, but overflowing with affection. Off to the side, Maria clenched her jaw, her fingers tightening silently. Time really flies. In the blink of an eye, we already have a child. Yes, time does fly. I hope it can always be like this. Of course, when we're old and Lucas has grown up, we'll still hold hands and go out to eat together. The owner brought over the dishes, steam rising in a warm cloud that enveloped us. Amidst the noise of the restaurant, we only had eyes for each other. Maria couldn't hold back any longer and hurried over to our table. David, what a coincidence running into you here. Her smile was fake. Her face was clearly drooping, yet she forced her lips into an upward curve, making it look twisted and unnatural. Without hesitation, Maria sat down across from us and greeted us as if she belonged there. Annabelle looked a bit stunned. And you are? Oh, almost forgot to introduce myself. Maria deliberately gave me an ambiguous glance before shaking Annabelle's hand. I'm David's friend. So you're David's friend? Annabelle quickly poured her a cup of tea. What a coincidence. What are you doing here? I asked warily, my tone already carrying a hint of dismissal. But Maria ignored me, clinging to Annabelle's hand as she began chatting. You must be David's wife, right? You're really beautiful. Oh, not at all. Annabelle waved her hand modestly. She was a smart woman. From my tone earlier, she had already sensed something was off. So naturally, she kept her guard up toward Maria. She tried to pull her hand back, but Maria held on tightly, refusing to let go. I'm not just flattering you. You really are pretty, prettier than David's ex-wife. Ah, from the look on your face, it seems like you don't know anything about this. What? David never told you about his ex-wife. I've heard that David was madly in love with her. He met her back in high school, practically childhood sweethearts. Since you and David met through a blind date, maybe you don't quite understand the difference in feelings. You know, from the very first moment David laid eyes on his ex-wife, he liked her. How much? Before even graduating high school, he was already planning to propose to her. Unfortunately, her family had a sudden tragedy and they lost contact. But fate brought them back together at university. Not long after David confessed his feelings, they soon got married. David really, really loved his ex-wife. I doubt anyone else in this world could ever make him love like that again. But fate can be cruel. Because of certain misunderstandings, they were forced apart. Later, David met you. To be fair, I have to admit, sometimes you remind me a bit of his ex-wife. No wonder David married you. After all these years, his taste hasn't changed. At this point, Maria let out 2 cold laughs. I think. Annabelle pressed her lips together, trying to end the conversation, but Maria refused to let her. Her grip only tightened, squeezing so hard it left red marks. Only then did Maria speak faintly. I am his ex-wife. On a frozen shock. Maria, that's enough. I raised my voice in warning, but she had no intention of stopping. Your name is Annabelle, right? I don't mean to compare myself with you. But even if I did, you could never compare to me. You're just a housewife now, while I have my own career. Besides, you just gave birth, your body is still recovering. But I'm different. I'm slimmer, more beautiful. I'm far more suited for David than you are. Miss Maria, I think we need to talk. I understand exactly how you feel right now. You just want to beg me to leave. Maria cut Annabelle off sharply, not giving her the slightest chance to speak. But sorry, you don't even have the right to beg me. If we're talking about who came first, you're the mistress, not me. Annabelle, you've stolen my husband and taken his love, but all of this was supposed to be mine. You're nothing more than my substitute, do you understand? David doesn't truly love you. Would he ever book out an entire art exhibition just for you? Would he spend a fortune to buy your paintings, just to show support? Would he cancel his work at the company just because you said you wanted to have dinner together? No, right? He's never done any of that for you. But he did for me. That's proof of how much he loved me. I know you two have a child. Don't worry, I'm not heartless. As long as you stop clinging to David, I'll reluctantly take in your son. From now on, I'll be his mother. If you want to see him, I can even arrange a nanny's position for you, so you can feed him, but you will never be allowed to acknowledge him as your child. Maria suddenly rattled off a whole bunch of words, then looked at Annabelle smugly. But Annabelle only sighed helplessly. Miss Maria, I think you misunderstood. First of all, David did mention you to me, but I wasn't interested, so I never asked more. And as for the things you said David did for you, he indeed never did them for me, because I'm not in the art industry at all. As for canceling work just to have a meal, I'd like to think I'm rational enough not to make such an unreasonable demand. You said so much, but all you wanted was to warn me to leave David. But now I can tell you clearly, I won't. We are legally married. We have children together, and I believe my husband has no lingering feelings for his ex-wife. I love him very much, and he loves me too. As Annabelle finished speaking, Maria's smug look faded slightly, her face gradually turning sour. That's impossible. David loves me. You're the one who interfered. You're the one clinging to him. Otherwise, why would David ever reject me? I couldn't stand listening anymore and shot back. Maria, you said all that self-righteously, but don't you feel guilty? You said you loved me, but when we were married, weren't you hooking up with Akira? Why didn't you say you loved me then? I didn't bother dragging up the past. Yet here you are, throwing away your dignity all by yourself. Aren't you ashamed? And no, that's not it. Maria frowned, flustered, trying to defend herself. The onlookers who had gathered for the drama, like gossip-hungry spectators, all turned their eyes on us. A few students who loved to whisper about other people's business began muttering. I thought it was the wife putting the mistress in her place, but turns out it's the cheating ex-wife making a scene. What a clown move, completely turning the tables upside down. Yeah, when I heard the ex-wife sounding so righteous just now, I almost believed her, thought she was the victim. Didn't expect she was that kind of trash. Exactly. She cheated first, then after her husband divorced her and remarried. She's still not okay with it. Must be crazy. Who knows, but she's definitely in the wrong. Hearing the whispers around her, Maria's expression darkened completely, face pale with anger. She muttered unwillingly, David, I know you still have feelings for me. You're just resentful I chose Akira back then. Or maybe she's holding you down with the child. I can give you a child too, can give birth for you too. I was too disgusted to keep listening. I casually picked up the water glass from the table and splashed it at her. Caught off guard, she was drenched, standing there in shock. I looked at her with disdain. This is a public place, don't be pathetic. Then I stood up, took Annabelle's hand, and walked away. Back home, I took the initiative to apologize to Annabelle. It's my fault. I know you love eating at that restaurant. So when I saw her, I just pretended not to know her. I didn't expect she'd suddenly go crazy. I know. Annabelle nodded with no trace of blame in her tone. Honey, this isn't your fault. We've done nothing wrong. She's the one who cheated. She's the one making a scene. You don't need to take responsibility for someone else's mistakes. But you, I'm fine. She says what she wants. I hear what I want. Look, I didn't lose a piece of myself, did I? Besides, what she said wasn't true. The more she tries to belittle me, the more it only highlights her own shortcomings. I don't even need to argue. Anyone with eyes can see who's right and who's wrong. I paused. Before I had only thought of Annabelle as a gentle wife and devoted mother, but I hadn't realized how strong she was inside. But when she lied, saying I told her I loved her, didn't you ever doubt me? Of course not. When we first started dating, you were upfront with me that you had been married once before. I still chose to marry you. That was my own decision. Since we became husband and wife, we should be understanding of each other, shouldn't we? Besides, I've said it long ago, I trust your character. Wife, thank you. I pulled Annabelle into my arms. Between husband and wife, what's the point of saying thank you? Annabelle gently patted my back, comforting me. After that incident, Maria didn't show up again, and our days were relatively peaceful. Just when everyone was starting to forget about her, she suddenly came knocking at our door. Annabelle was stunned to see Maria when she opened the door. Wife, who is it? I walked over, and when my eyes met hers, my face instantly darkened. What do you want this time? At the very least, I'm your ex-wife. How can you treat me like this? Maria let out a bitter laugh, then handed the exhibition tickets in her hand to Annabelle. I mean no harm. I just want to invite you both to my art exhibition. We're not interested. I pulled the tickets out of Annabelle's hand and stuffed them back into Maria's. Just as I was about to close the door, Maria blocked it with her arm and forced it open. It's just an invitation to an art show. Can't you even accept that? David, do you really need to be so heartless? I laughed coldly. You show up harassing me and my wife every other day. The fact I haven't called the police is already me giving you face. Haven't I made myself clear enough, Maria? I already have a wife and child. I don't take trash back into my life. Maria's mouth parted slightly, her expression blank as she stared at me. In your heart, I'm nothing but trash. Yes. Hearing that, Maria let out a bitter laugh. Fine, just don't regret it. After saying those words, Maria left. A few days passed. We had completely forgotten about the exhibition tickets. But unexpectedly, the next day, she stirred up more drama. That day I had just finished dinner and was about to scroll through some videos when suddenly I came across an interview, and in that interview appeared a face I knew all too well, Maria. Miss Maria, we've heard this masterpiece of yours took 2 years to complete. Now that someone has offered a high price to buy it, you firmly refused. May I ask, does this painting hold some special meaning to you? The reporter held the microphone toward Maria. Maria smiled faintly, answering vaguely. It does have a special meaning. This painting contains my love and longing for someone. We knew each other when we were young and fell in love, but unfortunately, it seems he no longer loves me. We also heard some rumors that the man you love might be your ex-husband. If that's the case, does that mean the reason for your divorce was because he cheated? Maria sighed sorrowfully, then looked toward the camera with a faint smile. Please don't speculate too much. I just wanted to express my feelings through painting. I don't dare think too much about the rest. He is already remarried, and I don't want to disturb him further. It's better to leave him some dignity. Oh my God, shocking gossip. I'd heard before that Maria, the talented artist, had been divorced. I thought it was just because love faded. I never imagined it was because the men cheated. Shameless. She treats him so well, and even now she refuses to reveal his name, still trying to leave him some dignity. Girl, you're too kind. Scumbag cheated and remarried. Don't tell me his new wife is the mistress. Gross. That's disgusting. This world has gone insane. Even someone as outstanding as Maria gets hurt by a trash man. Men should just all disappear. Women can even have babies without them now. Their only advantage is gone. The comments section exploded, all pointing fingers at me and Annabelle. In an instant, Maria had turned herself into the victim. My phone rang. It was David. I picked up. David, did you see that video on the headlines? Yeah, I saw it. What the hell? No, seriously, how could Maria be like this? She wasn't like that before. Back in college when you two were together, didn't all of us brothers take care of her? Even after you divorced, we still called her a few times, told her if you believed her we'd back her up. She swore back then that it was just love running its course. So why is she suddenly turning around and slandering you like this? If I hadn't heard the truth about your divorce from Luis, even I would have been fooled. Damn it. She's got no shame at all. David, don't worry. If it really comes down to it, we can record a video and post it online. Explain the whole story. We can testify for you. David, thank you. Come on, don't be so polite with me. But right now I can't come out and clarify things myself. When we split, I divorced her directly. I don't have evidence of her cheating. Even if you all testify for me, those people just looking for drama will say we're lying and making excuses. Then what should we do? Just let you take all the blame? Of course not. Don't worry, I can handle this. Tell the guys not to worry. I'm fine, really. We've been friends for so many years, don't lie to me. If you can't hold up on your own, we'll figure it out together. I'm serious, I already have a plan. All right then, I'll hang up for now. Hurry up and deal with this. If anything comes up, call me. After hanging up the phone, I rushed straight to the restaurant where Annabelle and I had gone on a date before. Boss, is your security camera working? What do you need it for? On June 20th, my wife and I came here for dinner, and a woman showed up making trouble. Do you remember? I'm in a bit of a mess right now, and I really need that footage as evidence. Don't worry, I'll pay you for it. The owner, busy in the kitchen, paused for a moment before suddenly realizing. Oh, no wonder that woman on the trending news looked so familiar. Yes, exactly, that's her. Sorry to bother you during work, but I really need it. Well, young man, it's not that I don't want to help, but the cameras were broken that week. They just got repaired today. So that's how it is. With Maria twisting the truth and no surveillance footage to clear myself, it looked like a tough battle was ahead. Just as I was worrying, a college girl nearby leaned over. Hey, I heard you asking the boss about the footage. Yes, why? Excited, she grabbed her friend's arm. I was here that day too, and I recorded the whole drama on my phone. Want it? My eyes lit up instantly. Really? Totally real. The girl opened her phone and showed me the video. The footage was complete from beginning to end, without a single cut. Perfect. I asked her to send me the video and offered payment, but she refused. She only asked me to buy milk tea for her and her friend. After getting their drinks, the two of them left, whispering to each other with a laugh. Now we get to watch the drama unfold again. Once I had the video, I quickly uploaded it online. The internet erupted. Oh my God, what a shocking twist. Maria the beauty has totally fallen from grace. Unbelievable. She cheated then framed her ex-husband. Poor guy was innocent the whole time. Morally bankrupt. Absolutely shameless. And this kind of person can still be a public figure, holding art exhibitions. What a joke. Maria's reputation collapsed overnight. She was drowned in curses from every corner. She hit the trending list again, but this time the headline read, "Disgraced painter, cheating ex-wife exposed." Overnight, all of her exhibitions were canceled. She was blacklisted from the art world, and her funding was cut off. Maria panicked. She thought of calling me. David, I was wrong. I lost my mind back then. Please forgive me, all right? Let's settle this privately. I'm begging you. First she cheated, then after being dumped by her boy toy, she shamelessly came crawling back. Knowing I had remarried, she still refused to give up, even flaunting herself in front of my wife. When I scolded her, she lashed out in humiliation and later used shady tricks to smear me. Now that she'd been exposed, she suddenly wanted reconciliation? Maria, do you have no shame? I sneered into the phone. Silence followed. That restaurant was where I had first met her. Unwilling to give up, Maria said, I only ended up like this because I loved you too much. I'm better than Annabelle in every way. I've known you longer than she has. Yet you still chose her. David, how cruel you are. You really are unbelievable, I said with a bitter laugh. All you do is insist Annabelle is beneath you and claim I don't love you, that I chose her instead, and yet you keep silent about your own cheating. Say something often enough and you end up believing your own lies, don't you? Stop making excuses for your betrayal. You brought this upon yourself. You deserve to be despised for the rest of your life. With that, I hung up furiously. Another night passed. The scandal over Maria's exhibition escalated further. Someone pointed out that the painting she mentioned in her video had actually plagiarized another artist's graduation project. The original artist posted their work online alongside Maria's. The resemblance was undeniable. Maria was once again cursed across the trending lists. Now she even faced the likelihood of paying a huge settlement for plagiarism. After this incident, Maria's career was utterly destroyed and her reputation completely ruined. She became like a rat everyone loathed at the sight of. At last, I returned to a calm and peaceful life. Annabelle and I lived simply, raising our son, content and happy. I thought, this kind of life will surely continue forever.